Hi guys, welcome back to Knuston Farm, where I'm gonna start out of character. I just recorded, or at least I thought I did, for half an hour. It was like 28 minutes when I finally realised I didn't press record on Fraps. So what I did in the non-episode that wasn't recorded, because I'm an idiot, is I put NPK pellets down on fields 1 and 7. They have now been absorbed, so we've fiddled the soil nutrients of fields 1 and 7 ever so slightly. And we're just going to jump in as if nothing happened. We are now going to start cultivating field 7 with the cultivator here on the back of the Massey. And I can't remember what I said in the previous episode at all. I'm pretty sure there was some actual roleplay stuff there. Oh yeah, I do know. So just gonna hop straight back into character and go and I talk about the things and stuff. So yeah, early morning here. I think I had one drink too many at the pub last night. But I finished up about 4ish yesterday afternoon, which meant that I actually got a bit of time to get in contact with the bank and talk to them about a few things, and you know, small but important things like that. And yes, I'm gonna be using GPS for this because why not? But I spoke to the bank and I raised my concerns. I actually went to the bank and raised my concerns directly with the manager. And he signed a contract, legally binding. I bloody well made sure that I actually had one of my friends is a lawyer, so I actually got him in on it as well. Fred's his name, Frederick Street London, which is a silly name, but he's a lawyer, so he can get away with having a stupid name like Frederick Street London. I got him involved anyway, and basically the bank has signed a legally binding agreement, which if they break it, they literally owe me £1 million, €1 million. I actually managed to get that term in there. Don't know how I managed to sneak that through, but it's in the contract, it's legally binding. If they break this contract, they'll owe me literally €1 million, and I can go and start off my old farm. And the contract states that I have 3 harvests in which I get a free pass from any debts I incur. And this farm does as well, so they can't foreclose, they can't even ask for repayments on debts. They have to wait until I'm finished my 3rd harvest, and then they can come looking for repayments. So what my plan is, as I just turn around here, what my plan is I'm going to stockpile. I am going to stockpile like there is no tomorrow. And what am I going to stockpile? Well, this field here is going to get canola, because I expect canola will be a good crop. It's usually worth quite a bit. Wholesalers like having canola, it can be turned into plenty of stuff, so they really like when, you know, farmers around here grow canola, or so I've been told. So I'm going to stockpile some canola from this field. Field 1 is going to get sugar beets for 1 cycle only. I'm actually going to move the sugar beets down here for the 2nd cycle because it's a slightly smaller field, and I should have plenty from the 1st cycle alone. I just want to double, kind of double up. Field 1 will then be getting probably canola, I think. I haven't really decided past this harvest. I just know it's going to be canola and sugar beet, because give me that sweet, sweet money once he comes around to selling it all. I'm not going to sell it until I get the third harvest done, at which point we'll have probably a massive stockpile of stuff. So basically, yeah, I'm allowed to overdraw as much as I need to for these 3 harvests, but after that, it's no holds barred from the bank. They can do whatever they want. Like I said, if they break the contract, if they're in breach, they owe me €1 million. If I'm in breach, there are no ill effects. It's very hard for me to be in breach of a very one-sided contract where the bank is essentially just promising me they won't screw me over like what happened in Cobra Park. If you're wondering what happened in Cobra, number 1, I actually did a video series there, and number 2, the bank basically railroaded me into failure. They gave me a farm that could easily have made quite a lot of money, and decided that they wanted me to try and work that farm to the... Well, they decided to lump every single debt in the county against Cobra Farm, where I was working for, ostensibly for the bank. I was working for them to just keep the farm running while they could find a prospective buyer. What they never told me was that they were secretly putting every debt in the county against Cobra Farm and planning to essentially declare it bankrupt. And that's what happened. Unfortunately, this is what happened. Cobra Farm, because I just couldn't get the money together, was declared bankrupt. And last I heard, the developers are in there laying the foundations for a rather nice shopping centre. And, you know, hotels and whatnot. Apparently they're building some sort of weird countryside holiday village that is going to be absolutely nothing like the countryside. That's what they're doing with Cobra Park Farm. Oh dear. Knuston, we're just helping to get this back. We're just trying to help modernise Knuston so there's not major financial issues. It shouldn't be much of a problem, especially with the 3 harvest grace period. I'll probably try and get some new equipment in the time being. I do want to try and get some work done with my mind's just going completely blank. I want to get some work done towards getting compost made, and I know I can make that. I think I can make that with crops if I want to literally throw away crops, but that's not going to happen. What I do want to try and get is a forage wagon so that I can start growing barley and just windrowing up the grass, collecting it up, throwing it into the composter, and, you know, doing it that way. The trailer I have no idea if that can carry manure. I'll probably actually buy a second trailer specifically for manure, or not manure, compost, which out of character uses manure, fill lanes, etc. Probably get a separate trailer just for compost to move around, get a manure, yeah, a manure spreader that's been modified to fling compost. They're very similar in composition, so it shouldn't be much of an issue. And yeah, try and get compost down on the ground to get... What would compost give me? Let me consult my reference book, which I can't seem to find compost. There's manure, so compost should be around here somewhere. Compost. Ploughed plus 3 nitrogen, 2 pk, and plus 0.2-ish pH. Yeah, compost is definitely worth aiming towards just from the nutrient value of it, especially seeing as it's essentially from, I can essentially get it made from grass. Just store up in a big pile somewhere. I'm quite worked out where. Store it up in a big pile somewhere and work from there. Oh, nuts. What's going on here? Huh. Apparently I hit a particularly large rock there. And what on earth is going on with GPS? GPS has gone completely insane, which is lovely. So I've had to try and reset it. It's not quite where it was, but it'll do. It'll do for now, at least. The reason I'm cultivating field 7 first is because it's the less insane of the 2 fields that I own, or that the Charles owns, I guess. Bear with me a moment. I'm just gonna have a drink of water to try and wake myself up a tad. I am still tired. It is like 7 o'clock in the morning. That's really weird. The tractor won't move until I mean, it's kind of handy, I guess, but it just suddenly got stuck there like that. Really weird at the same time, because I haven't experienced that before. I'm hoping it's just there are some especially large rocks in this area. That's what's causing the tractor to stop, and I hope it's not some sort of weird bug-like glitch in the matrix kind of thing going on there. Hoping it's just a particularly large rock or something. And oh. Okay, so real talk. It is currently 10 to 10 on Saturday morning, and I've just recorded the 2 Motorway episodes for this week recorded, so tomorrow's episode's already in the bag. This is the 3rd episode I'm recording now, but I've been up all night because I just couldn't sleep. My sleeping pattern is basically sleep one night, don't sleep one night, sleep one night, don't. Like asleep, awake, asleep, awake. It's completely horribly messed up at the moment. I'm gonna try and get back into check at some point soon. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because I really dislike the random nature of it. It's just annoying more than anything else. So yeah, the wonderful world of I'm driving in a straight line, essentially. I'm checking my phone. Never check your phone while driving, guys. Some life advice for you right there. He says as he puts his phone down. In my defense, I was just clearing all the notifications because I forgot to. Overnight, and there's been a few emails and stuff after coming through that my phone never clears its own notifications, so I have to do it for it, so yeah. I really don't know what to talk about, which is annoying, to say the least. this cultivator. The reason I'm cultivating, before seeding is, number one, we don't have a seeder with any kind of soil preparation on the front of it. It's literally just, it drills a little hole and puts the seed in, and it's done. There's no power harrow, no anything on the front. So we need to have a nice seed bed for it to work efficiently. Now, this cultivator, conveniently, I've been told, gives a seed bed that is completely 100% suitable for the seeder we have. And the seeder we have, conveniently, can plant sugar beets, which is what we're going to be planting up in field 1. This is going to get canola, which I already mentioned. But this is the smaller field, and it's going to drive me less insane. That's why we're doing field 7 first. It's actually the reason, by the way. Like, completely legitimately, this is going to drive me less insane than doing field 1 first. Because at least, if I do this first, I'll know, well, I'm halfway there. And field 1 will come around, and I'll be like, oh, I'm really not. I'm really about a third of the way once I got this done. But hey, it's better than just starting off. But yeah, if you guys I've seen said, well, Sean Laylock definitely said he doesn't blame me for switching out the plough. Couple of people said, could you imagine, doing that with a small plough, and having to do it with a small plough because that was the biggest one you could get at the time. I have nothing but respect for these old like the likes of the Amish, who, like, by choice go out and do fields. What's like a huge field here? Fields the size of field 13. The Amish do that with horse and cart. The horse-drawn plough, horse-drawn cultivator, horse-drawn everything, and occasionally a PTO cart, because if they got a particularly liberal pastor or head of the community, they can use some machinery. I think the rules for Amish, depending on the specific sect, is that you just can't use self-propelled stuff with engines, but you can use engines to drive things. For example, they wouldn't be allowed to use this Massey Ferguson, but if they put a PTO cart with an engine on it behind 3 horses, we'll say, and through a 3-meter mowing deck on the back, driven by the engine and PTO, that would be perfectly fine for some Amish communities with reasonably liberal pastors and values and viewpoints towards engines. Because let's face it, farming, you really do need an engine nowadays to make any sort of living from it. And the Amish not only need to make a living for it, they need to make their own food from it as well. The Amish need to buy in supplies. They're not completely self-sufficient. They are as self-sufficient as is probably possible in the communities in which they live. But no Amish community, to my knowledge, I'm probably wrong. I'm not going to say no. The majority of Amish communities are not self-sufficient simply because they're probably out on their own in a bit of a weird area. the truth of the matter is probably the most Amish communities need to farm to make money so that they can buy from, buy raw materials like wood, like cloth. And yes, they do use very old style materials, but there are places out there that will deal with Amish stuff. And the Amish do sell to the non-Amish community, especially with the stuff that they make, which genuinely looks amazing like 90% of the time. But that's just kind of a weird thing that I wanted to talk about for no reason whatsoever. Also, I noticed there are weeds in this field already. I left it grow overnight, and there are weeds. The heck is in the ground here? The grass is dry, but the weeds, oh my god, if you leave anything for a night without herbicide, it will just spray into your face. Seriously, how did they all crop up overnight? And to that height as well. The weeds around here are insane, good lord. On the bright side, we're about a fifth of the way through this field. Possibly. Oh dear. I'm gonna swear now. I'm gonna say now. I'm not gonna swap out this cultivator like I did with the plow. This is just big enough that it's. I would say it's a reasonable prospect doing both fields of this in a reasonable amount of time. Won't be the fastest job in the world ever, because it's not, a 73 meter plow, a 73 meter cultivator even, with, inbuilt fertilizers and a magical seeding deck that also mows and cuts your crops down for you afterwards, because it instantly grows your crops. And not only does it cut your crops down, but it sends everything magically into the storage and then sells it for you. And bales up all of the straw, regardless of what crop it was. It will make straw out of it, bale it all up, and sell the straw, and then it'll feed your cows. Even if you have no cows, it'll feed your cows. It's like the perfect. That's like the perfect implement. How many horsepower does it take? 15,000. Well, luckily I've got a spare ship. I can power this machine. I suppose a jet engine would actually power it as well, then. That's 15,000 horsepower. F-18 Super Hornet. The engines from an F-18 Super Hornet are probably somewhere in the region of 15,000 horsepower. Especially like 4 of them, because I was on a ferry before when I was moving to the UK, because obviously I live in the UK now. I'm in character, guys. Still live in Ireland. Partially in character. True story, but my character still. Kind of. When I was moving to the UK, couldn't fly because I was taking all my stuff, and it would have cost far too much to bring, at least a few months worth of clothes and stuff to the UK. So I got the ferry from, where did I get the ferry? Belfast to Stranraer. I think that ferry now goes to Cairnryan in Scotland, because it was actually the shortest ferry trip I could have taken, because I wanted to be on the road most of the time. I just like driving. And the ferry that I took was the, I can't remember the name specifically, it was the Stena line, because they're, you get value for money with Stena line, I'm gonna admit. It was the Stena HSS. I believe, the high-speed ship. High-speed ship. It was the fast ferry, basically. And if you've never seen one of them, it's basically a giant catamaran. So it's got 2 holes. And it's a car ferry, so it fits in primarily trucks. Big lorries from various shipping companies. That's their bread and butter. And the passenger service is just kind of on top of it. And they pretty much try and price gouge absolutely everything out of the passengers. The food is acceptable but really expensive, and there's a gift shop on board. And an arcade with video games. You can guess how I got myself entertained on most of those on that ferry journey. Video games. But I'm kind of digressing from the point here. The point is, those ferries, it's a pretty large catamaran. The engine, it's got 4 engines. At least the one I was on did. And if memory serves, 2 were built to the same specifications as the F-16 fighter jet. As in, they were literally F-16 engines. Possibly surplus F-16 engines. And that was kind of half the power. I think the other 2 were F-18 engines. So Super Hornets. So you had 2 F-16 engines and 2 F-18 engines powering probably 50 to 100,000 ton ship. And that thing could get up to 30, maybe 40 knots, depending on the seas. Not particularly great. The Irish Sea, for those of you who don't know, is quite volatile, especially because it's, well, Ireland and Britain aren't exactly renowned for their good weather, are they? So the Irish Sea can get quite rough at times. And unfortunately, the crossing I was on, unfortunately, depending on how you want to view this, the crossing I was on when I was moving over to the UK to start working on farms. Started off as a farmhand, then the Coldborough debacle happened, and now I'm here. But when I moved to the UK at first, the crossing I had, it wasn't the best weather that day. It was a bit quite windy, a bit on the rainy side. There was a fine mist, pretty much all day, which is fine on land. I mean, it's a mild inconvenience on land when it rains. Out in the Irish Sea, and I'm not even kidding here, it felt like we were on a roller coaster at one point. It actually felt like a roller coaster. It was it was fun because instead of everybody getting scared and being like, "Whoa, the ship could tip over and sink," everybody just cheered because the ship was tilted and maybe I'm gonna say maybe 30-degree angle, 20 to 30-degree angle. It wasn't a massive angle, but it was enough that you go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, this isn't supposed to be happening." And instead of getting scared, I don't know if it was for all the kids that were on board because it was a very kid-heavy ship that day, or just because everybody thought this was actually quite fun. Everybody just kind of went, "Way," as the boat went over the side of a wave and And actually, it reached some angles that it probably wasn't supposed to be able to reach. But it wasn't designed for some of the waves that it managed to go over the side of. Managed it with no problems, and fun was had, but the weather wasn't great. It was a cold enough day, so, you know. Ooh. It is not even 8 o'clock. Apologies for the yawning. It was a cold enough day, so, you know, a rainy day is bad enough when it's a warm day. You know, a warm rainy day is like, oh, it could have been so sunny today. But it's not, it's raining. But once it gets cold, it's like, well, what bonus is there to the weather here? It's cold. You're gonna be cold regardless of this. And on top of that, it's raining, which means you're gonna feel even colder because you'll be wet. Now, it's not even heavy rain where you can just throw on a set of waterproof trousers and a waterproof jacket. No, it's that annoying bloomin' mist where you look stupid if you wear a full set of waterproofs. You look even dumber if you've been sat in front of a fire for 3 hours trying to get it lit. Well, keeping it lit, and your face has been blackened by soot. Because that's a thing that happened to me too! Hooray for scouts. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it here, guys. There's plenty of cultivation to go. The next video will be more cultivating here. And then starting off on field 1, hopefully. So until then, I will see you next time. Until then, oh wonderful, I've managed to screw up my own outro. Well done me. I'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe and goodbye.